Cross-cultural experiences can be intimidating, frustrating, and even dangerous. However, they can also be hilarious. Growing up black in the former Nazi Germany, you can imagine I've had my fair share of interesting experiences. I'm not sure about you, but have you ever felt different? Or have you ever been treated differently? Culture has been defined in a TED Talk by Pellegrino Riccardi as a system of behavior that helps us act in an accepted or familiar manner. When you don't fit into that accepted mold, you become a crash test dummy. I am that crash test dummy, and I have crashed and burned many times. Madam Toastmaster, fellow members and guests, today I would like to share with you my journey of wreaking cross-cultural havoc in 3 different continents during 3 different times of my life. Phase 1. Moving to Nigeria as a child. Growing up black in predominantly white Germany, I was called names daily and never quite fit the mold. Thus, I became rebellious and I wasn't doing well in school. As a result, my mother decided to send me to Nigeria under false pretenses. She said to me, "Son, do you want to visit your father in Africa over the Christmas break?" And I said, "Africa, that must be my place, my people, everybody's my skin color, so yes, mother, I do want to go." After I arrived there, a few big surprises happened. First, I found out polygamy is legal in Nigeria. My father had another wife behind my mother's back while he was still with her. On the positive side, I was blessed with 6 more wonderful siblings, including the brother that I've always wanted and never had. The second big surprise was I found out I wasn't black. I was white indeed. Everybody in Germany was wrong. When my siblings saw me, they opened up their arms and said, "Welcome, Oyebo," which means white boy in Europe. Can you imagine my confusion? Phase 2, visiting Ohio as a teenager. I played basketball for the youth national team in Germany and wanted to hone my basketball skills over the summer break in America. Shockingly, my mom agreed to send me to Columbus, Ohio over the summer. Quickly, I dominated the court, and yes, I threw down some mean dunks on these kids, but I was mildly intimidated to order food at Burger King. When I walked up to the register, I was surprised by the breadth and depth of the menu. I had never seen supersized combos before. On top of that, were free refills, and trust me, those suckers don't exist in Europe for a reason. The cashier was friendly, but fired away at a machine gun speed, and at the end of the order even asked me, "Where are you from?" And I was like, "Oh, that's a kind gesture. Well, I am from Hamburg, Germany." At which point, the whole Burger King crew bent over laughing. Turns out, he actually asked for here or to go. Clearly, my English skills weren't as developed as my basketball game on the court. Phase 3, living in Spain, or studying Spanish in Sevilla, Spain, for a summer as a young adult. Magically, I found myself again at Burger King. This was obviously long before I conjured up my vegan flexible philosophy. I was contemplating visiting a romantic interest in Barcelona over the weekend. And while I was ruminating and passionately thinking about my romantic interest, a few guys walked in and started talking American hip-hop, and I joined the conversation. Before long, my new friends Danny and Jose Luis were saying, "You're going to stay in Sevilla, Spain for this weekend, and going to Barcelona is not an option." All I had to do was call Danny and figure out what the plan was for the weekend. Making the call to Danny filled me with high anxiety, because at that point in time, my English was worse than my Spanish was worse than my English as at the Burger King in Columbus, Ohio. When I spoke with Danny on the phone, all I understood was, wear your dance shoes and bring a beach towel. The plan was to meet at the Plaza de Cuba at 7 p.m. And you know, Deutsche sind immer pünktlich. Therefore, I showed up there at 7 p.m. sharp. My newfound friends from Burger King were a no-show. At 7:15, I bought myself a magazine and started reading because everybody knows Spaniards are always late. At 7:30, I asked myself, did I understand Danny right? And what the heck was I going to do with a beach towel in the middle of the night anyway? At 7:45, I experienced immense trepidation. Scheiße, die Jungs haben mich verarscht. At 7:55, my friends showed up. I found out I was going to party at a beach town all night, and the towel would be my blanket for crashing at the beach after the party. Needless to say, Jose Luis and Danny and I have become friends for life. In summary, I've shared with you my journey to wreaking cross-cultural havoc in 3 different continents during 3 different phases of my life. In a world where people are scared of foreigners, and the press frenzy has us believe that your next door neighbor could be the next Boston Marathon bomber, I'll challenge you. Connect with your neighbor, co-worker, or stranger, and strike up a conversation. You'll see there's more to gain than to lose when you open yourself up. And the next time you're on the road, karma will be your friend. Thank you. And until next time.